Oh, hey, 3 people already. Hey, everybody. I'm still getting this link sent out. So give me 1 second to not be paying attention. I apologize. Um, I'm Our poor Facebook feed has that giant picture of my face on it. It's disappointing. Alrighty, there's that. There's that. Let me just hop over and open up the questions document. And we'll be good to go. Oh, that's not it. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, February the 3rd. I have too many documents. Alrighty. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them here in the chat. If for some reason you're watching and you can't access the chat, don't worry. On the school website, under, I always forget what I title that section. You would think, as the guy who built it, I would know. Under events and info, there's a YouTube live questions form, and you can just fill that out, and I will keep that pulled up. I actually missed a few last week. I said goodbye, and then I checked, and I had missed a couple, so we'll go back over those. And yes, so let's see. It's not quite 8:30, so I'm gonna hang out for 30 more seconds before we really get started. But yes, if you have questions, go ahead and get them out in the chat, because that'll give me time to start thinking through who I might need to call or text to get us the answers that we need. But it is, oh man, it's still not 8:30. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So real quick recap, it is now 8:30. So good morning, welcome, thank you for being here. One of the questions that we had last week in the thing that I didn't get to was this: since the CDC recommended schools reopen with proper safety protocols, perhaps some of us in Plan B will see movement in that direction. It appears that we did see movement in that direction. And then my question is, how do you find out who your board rep is? Honestly, every time I feel like I have to Google it. It's a little easier now. I kind of have them memorized. For most of you, especially if Millbrook is your base school, the board member who represents this area is Dr. Roxy Cash. And then Mr. Haggerty, I believe, is to the west of us, and Ms. Heather Scott is to the east of us, and Dr. Jim Martin is to the south of us, like the central area. And then I think everybody else on the board is the southern end of the county. But yes, if you need board emails, you can look them up on wcpss.net. There should be a whole section for the school board, and they all have emails there. And shout out to our school board, who is really amazing at responding to emails. I can only imagine how many they're getting these days. And I still get, sorry, hold on, I gotta text somebody. Anyway, shout out to the board for answering so many emails. I'm sure they're inundated right now with every possible point on the spectrum. So yeah, I hope that helps. There was one note in here about testing. We do have some makeup testing happening today. I believe there's going to be one more makeup testing day in February. And then we're waiting on guidance from the district for how we're going to do makeup testing after February. There is going to be some makeup testing between February and June, but I don't know what it is. And when I spoke to Miss Sanchez earlier, her best recommendation was that we just know that we need to wait for the district to clarify what's going to happen in that middling time. So again, before I answer questions in the chat, if you have them and you can't see the chat, please feel free to submit them on the form that is linked on the website. That link is called YouTube Live Questions Form. And I will see them there in real time. And that is a neat thing that we have going on. So the first question here is, there was mention of graduation info during tonight's open house. Is there a specific breakout session to go to for this? Yes, please hold, actually. And let me pull up let's see, that's going to be shared. I want this document. Okay, so the breakout sessions, you're going to want to go to the student services updates and supports. I believe all of the other breakout sessions are going to be about MYP, returning to campus safety protocols, and then the cohorts and how the cohorts are going to work. But on the open house information sheet that was linked in the weekly message, let me pull that link and I'll share it with you in the chat. Wow, that was a long link. You can see all the breakout sessions descriptions at the bottom. And that's actually a really great note. Let's look through those really quickly. We know that we're prepping to come back. I know that because of the decision from last night, it feels like there should be a whole lot to go over right now. In reality, part of why the board moved to vote last night was specifically to allow schools the 2 weeks to know what the plan was. So I anticipate us having many more details to share with you a week out, but we're still going to go over what resources we have that you can interact with right now to start familiarizing yourself with things. So the first thing that we need to say out loud, just full stop, is please come to open house tonight. It was incredibly valuable in the fall. And it's really quite nice to just be able to jump in, talk, and meet the new teachers, and the breakout sessions are really informative. So again, that is tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. That link that I just put in the chat got all the information on it. Again, the breakout sessions are from 6 to 6:25 and then 7:30 to 7:55. And they're optional, but we have a lot of options there for you. So please plan on coming to open house tonight. Tell your friends, scream it far and wide. It's a really good time. Specifically, the breakout sessions about returning to campus with the COVID safety protocols, is a really great chance to hear it directly from Mr. Ship and Mr. Flowers, who have been our two go-to COVID response coordinators. They've been working so long on this and having to change and edit and update and keep up with what's going on literally since June and July. So they'll be there. You'll get to hear it directly from them. Additionally, on the school website, if you go to Our School, there's a drop-down link to the Returning to School dashboard where we have the first of 4 videos. I'm actually putting the 5th video up today. And it is a really great tool because it's Mr. Ship breaking down all of the various parts of the return to school guide. What did we call that document? Let me look so I don't say it wrong. The Returning to School guide is a really long slideshow. And then the Health and Safety Handbook is a book that they have built for Millbrook High School to address what we've got to do here. Site specific. I looked up the SAT test dates. It looks like Millbrook is offering the test on March 13th and May 8th. I think that might be right. You could email your counselor or Melanie Sanchez, MA Sanchez at WCPSS.net, just to check. Let me go down the rest of this. Ms. Petzel, did we get Do you want the email addresses? Like, I can probably pull them if you need them. If you don't live in the area and attend a school as a magnet student, and the board member that is for your child's school and the board member who you vote, oh yeah, that's absolutely right. If this is not your base school, if you're a magnet student, the good news is I don't, because of the way the magnet lines are drawn, none of our students should come from any of the southern areas, because we basically split the county sort of on this almost north-south like median line. So all of those students would go to Garner as their IB school. So it really should be Mr. Haggerty, Dr. Cash, Miss Scott, or Dr. Martin, if you're here at Millbrook. But that is a great point. You'll definitely want to check if you're a magnet family. The county is going to have to redo the cohort schedules for the rest of the semester, right? Actually, no, I believe at this point, what Miss Moore said at the meeting is that the cohorts will list. Oh, thank you, Ms. Petzold. I appreciate it. The cohorts will follow the schedule that is currently published. So when our students return on the 17th, I'm going to look this up. Mr. Ship just told me this, so I believe him, but I'm afraid that I forgot what he already told me. When students return on the 17th, that will be cohort number 2, or B, students that see a B in Power School. Why that nomenclature isn't aligned is a question to me. I believe that Superintendent Moore last night said, again, I think that if any changes are going to be made to even out the number of days. All right. Changes that are going to be made to even out the number of days for cohorts would happen after quarter 3, just because people have had that calendar for a while. So I think it'll stay the same. I think if they update that, then you will get that pushed out. It'll probably come through a WCPSS family email like you got yesterday evening. Driver's ed. Yeah, let me go. Pull the latest info I have on that. I'm just going to read. I'm going to read what I have. All 2021 school year driver's ed classes are full. Summer registration usually opens at the beginning of April. With COVID-19 restrictions, it may be delayed. Please continue to check the Jordan Driving School website for all of those updates. Please do not submit a registration form until Jordan Driving School posts the summer information. All those classes will continue to be taught virtually. So that means February, March, April, and May are full already. Driver's ed is certainly a pinch point right now. I know it's a pain, but it's not really a school thing. We have it on site, and one of our teachers coordinates it, but she has to work with the other company, the third party provider, Jordan Driving School. Okay, I don't see any new. Let me reload this just in case it doesn't live update. Nope. Let me look at my notes. I know one thing I forgot is the ACT. If you have a junior who has not yet filled out the intent to take the ACT form, we do need juniors who plan on being on campus to take the ACT to fill that form out so that we can schedule students into classrooms and maintain the safety protocols that we have to maintain. Yes, I believe report cards are available at guest services at this point. If you email Gina Cooper before you come, she can probably pull it and have it ready for you. We also have student IDs. I think those are the two big things that are down there right now. So that was a lot. I don't normally ramble for 12 minutes. Thank you for the questions. That certainly helps us avoid that. We are going to have a special guest here in a few minutes. because I want to talk to everybody about which ACT date is this in reference to? The one in, that's a great question. I believe it's February. It's this month. I think it's the end of the month. I want to say the 23rd, but I am going to go look right now. Let's see. Weekly principals message from January 20, probably 23rd, 24th. Yep, there we go. Okay, the ACT is on February 23rd. I am going to put a link in the chat. You will not be able to open this. Your students will need to be signed into their Wake ID, but you can copy and paste that URL so they can access it. So again, if you have a junior who intends on taking the ACT and they haven't yet filled that form out, they need to do so quickly. Materials drop off. Yes, if you have things to drop off at this point, you're welcome to take them to Gina Cooper in guest services at the front window, and she'll leave it in the media center for whomever needs to pick it up. Is MHS still hosting the SAT on the 13th and the 8th? I believe that's right. I'll confirm that next week. But yeah, I do believe that's right. I think we picked up an extra date. Will band chorus get special masks when they arrive? Yes, I believe they will. I know that when I go bother our band director, there are boxes of all the weird masks that allow kids to play. I haven't actually tried to play with one of those. Maybe I'll go get one and play something on our show next week. That would be a fun and interesting time. But yes, they should get those. And we have all the arts guidance on how to execute the arts classes. I know that all of our arts teachers are incredibly excited to finally be able to get kids in and do the things that kids love doing. We're all very excited. Will the open house sessions be recorded tonight if anyone can't make it? The teacher sessions likely will not. And part of that has to do with a lot of parents will log in with their student's account. And then if you're recording, you see the student information, the student name tag at the bottom of the Google Meet. And there's a lot that goes into with how we share that out publicly. I will do some work today to try to ensure that we can record a live stream version of that so that we can have it available. I don't know that we have committed to recording it at this point. Alrighty. Let me text our special guest and see if they're going to make it. Let me go back and check. Oh, where do students find the link for the ACT intent? Okay, so if you're hearing this and you put the question for the ACT link in the Google Meet, if you can't access it, first of all, email me directly, cpatten2@wcpss.net, and I can email it to you. I'll also ask Ms. Sanchez if she's good if I put it on the website for another couple days. I don't really know what her timeline is, and I don't want to have kids sign up past her deadline. But yes, do that for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the with our special guests content, because it's really awkward to just sit there and stare at me sitting in my office. We currently have PTSA nominations open, and we have a lot of people who have expressed interest in some of the specific committee work and other roles, secretary, treasurer, things like that. But what I can say, hey, Jody Balmer, Jody in the chat. What we specifically are looking for is someone interested in taking on the PTSA president role. And it can seem like a lot and it can seem intimidating, but Jody, how do you talk? Where are you? I don't think you can join me here. I think that's the problem. Can you FaceTime me? We are about to experiment in a very interesting way. Okay. All right, everybody.
I'm here, but I gotta mute this because then there won't be feedback.
Yes, that's true. So, hey, everybody, this is how we do socially distanced guests on the show. I will let Ms. Bulmer introduce herself and talk all things PTSA.
Hi. I'm like, now where do I look? Do I look in my camera? Do I look in your camera?
I would try and look at the camera lens of my camera.
Oh, look at that.
But okay. I have to try and get the focus the right way.
Okay, and I'll try to sit still and not be my typical moving self. Hey, you guys. So we love all of you, and you guys have been so amazingly supportive of, like, this was a crazy idea a year ago, right, to do these lives. I'm like, Patton, we need to connect with our people. Like, how can we do it? It's turned into, like, the most incredible experience for the whole year, and PTSA, we are a part of it. We want to continue to inspire people like Patton and give ideas and give feedback and be part of, like, that core stakeholder group with our school. And that takes a big team, and it takes a lot of people who are willing to kind of step up and volunteer. We published our first call for nominations this past weekend in the Sunday Message. It was long. I apologize. I like to, put a lot of words around things that I'm talking about. And we'll try to get that run again this weekend. We have to present a slate of officers in April. And we have had people sign up on that form, which is amazing. Thank you so much for people who are already doing that. We really need to find someone who's going to be willing to take over the president role. Sophia, our amazing leader for this year, her daughter is graduating. So we're not even in a situation where we can have that president continue on. Per bylaws, you are allowed to serve 2 years consecutively in the same role, but we can't do that because our standing rules do require that you have a student enrolled at Millbrook High School if you're going to be an elected officer. So we are really looking for somebody. It does not mean that you do all the work. I promise it doesn't. I've served as PTSA president at Millbrook. It is a huge team. We share really well. It just means, like, that you really like to have big ideas and you like to communicate, and you're, you're willing to kind of put yourself out there and think about new and different and innovative ways to expand our programming. So creativity, collaboration, strong communicator, team player, able to delegate, like, you're really good with letting other people, they take an idea and run with it and see how it goes. Like, it's really that kind of a role. So if you are thinking about it, maybe quietly wondering, could I do it? We would love to hear from you. Sophia, I know, would be happy to talk to you. I am happy to talk to you. Kim Miller was the president when I showed up at Millbrook High School with my freshman, 7 years ago. And she was the one who inspired me. Andrea Scarborough, also really good resource to talk to. She's still in Millbrook today, helping out in different capacities, and her kids have moved on. But we've all done it. It's been amazing for all of us. And we would really, really like to get some more traction with people who might be willing to serve this year or in years to come. So that's my pitch for today.
And as always, we are committed to new and unique solutions for solving problems, including how to communicate with people. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Bulmer.
Yep, no problem.
I honestly I can't believe that worked out that well. Yes, my shoulders are less excited about that choice right now. So I think I've said this in the past. The PTSA here is really special. not just in terms of to the school, but like in the grand scheme of PTSAs, there is real magical work that happens here to support, like to directly support the student experience, to directly support the staff here. And so it's a little intimidating knowing, what's next, not being able to see all the way around the corner. But what I can promise you is if you're at all interested, I would encourage you to take the leap. You're going to be in great hands. You're going to be supported. You're going to have a bunch of resources. And again, like here's a data point, right? Like the average tenure of principals in the state right now, I think is like 5 years, maybe 6 years. And we have Miss King, who is at 16 or 17 years as the principal at this school, right? Like there are not many PTSAs that have that kind of institutional integrity to it. And that really matters. The other really great thing about PTSA is they've been very upfront about trying to recruit voices that haven't historically been as well represented on PTSA as well. So if you feel like, oh, well, that's not a group I've ever been involved in before, we're ready for you. Oh yeah. Well, Jody's taking a sabbatical from PTSA, and then she'll be back, is what I hear her saying. So if you have any questions, obviously reach out to Miss Balmer or Miss Griffey's. I can put you in touch if you need that. If you're interested, I would also encourage you to reach out to Miss King or Miss Wilson, who work closely with the PTSA, and get their perspective on it, get their perspective on what's gone really well, what areas are there to keep working on. But I talked to a lot of you here, specifically here in these live sessions, and many of you drop really incredible ideas in the chat. And that's exactly what Miss Balmer is talking about in terms of we're looking for people with ideas, people who can help delegate and help organize and get things moving in the right direction. So consider it. We love you for it. All right. That was a lot. And I think that is all I have. I'm going to check the Google form real quick. If you have any last minute questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. Where do the students take the link? Yes. So email me and I will get you the link to sign up for the ACT. Is there somewhere to find what qualifications are considered for the National Honor Society application? Yes, please hold. Maybe again, a weekly message, National Honor Society. So I would email Dr. Carr. Her email is mtcarr, Michelle T. Carr at wcpss.net, mtcarr at wcpss.net. In the weekly message, it says, if you have any questions, contact Dr. Carr. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. She can probably share that with you. And yes, the information meeting is today. It is... Oh, you will get an email from Dr. Carr. So if you haven't done that already, maybe try and reach out. It does say on here the deadline was 1/29. So sorry, Dr. Carr, if I messed up your deadline. All righty. Last call for questions. Gonna look over here one more time. Okay, so next week, definitely be ready for a lot of updates in terms of safety. Please tell your friends and family who have students here to come to open house tonight. There will be a big banner. I'll put it up at about 5:30. There will be a big green banner on the website that has all the links to get into open house. So don't stress if you can't find the link. We're going to get that put up. Maybe I'll put it up a little earlier so people can feel like they can practice if they need to. I certainly know how it is every week when I'm like, oh, it's 8:27 and let me try and go live. That can certainly be stressful, and I don't want that for any of you. So have a wonderful week. Be safe and be ready, because before too long, our youngins are going to be back here, and it will be nice to see them. We love you all. I will see you next week.